Is that the chap who won the gold yesterday as well?
Yes.
Simply going out for a walk can be a tricky thing to navigate for Nathan Giles and his carer. The 25-year-old is a sociology lecturer at a local college in Redditch.
What are some of the practical difficulties for you, Nathan, when you go out in your wheelchair?
I've been abandoned on trains before, was my carer, had to go and summon assistance. That's obviously not very practical for train timetabling because the train can't leave with me on it.
So that must have been really frustrating, being abandoned on that train.
Yes, it is, but we come to expect it.
Having to expect difficulties every single day. Mr. Giles lives with his mum Donna and sister Keris, who also has cerebral palsy. But it's not just the practicalities. Mrs. Giles says it's often attitudes that are a barrier.
Both of us, we encourage to do volunteering, do different things, and just to help out within society, and just to get out and do whatever they want to do.
But you still feel that there are barriers to that, and people just assume that because they're wheelchair users?
Yeah, there can be that assumption that, oh, maybe they won't want to do that.
As the Giles family have found, transport is a huge headache. But of course, it's not the only barrier faced by those with disabilities every single day. The government's announced a list of 100 pledges to tackle issues such as housing, employment and education. It describes it as a once-in-a-generation transformative plan. But critics describe it as a mixture of a to-do list and a should-have-been-done-by-now list.
Reaching some impressive speeds. Anna Wafula-Strike is a Paralympic wheelchair racer. She's critical of today's announcement because of the lack of consultation.
It is something about us without us, if you know what I mean. Where is the action? How is this going to be implemented?
The athlete has campaigned for disability rights after a degrading experience on a train.
I'm just about to jump on my train and I'm a little bit nervous.
When she was forced to wet herself because the accessible toilet wasn't working.
When I had that horrible, humiliating experience on the train, I felt so disabled. I felt so alone, you know. It's and I think to me, I just needed a toilet that was accessible.
It should be a simple ask, say campaigners. The government is going to audit mainline railway stations for disabled accessibility. But the timing of today's strategy has been questioned because the consultation process is the subject of a judicial review.
Well, it's midnight. I've arrived back in Leeds, having booked assistance for this journey some weeks ago.
Doug Pawley made this video when he was left stranded on a train after midnight because there was no one to put a ramp down for him. He's one of those challenging the government over some of the assumptions behind today's strategy.
This is a survey directed at disabled people, and yet it asked us if we would be prepared to have an intimate relationship with a disabled person. And I'm thinking, first of all, what's that got to do with our experience as disabled people and how the government can impact on it? And secondly, what?
Ministers say they are consulting and listening, but today they faced another legal setback when a judge ruled that a lack of sign language at 2 government COVID briefings served to disempower, frustrate and marginalise.